So if everyone is aware that you guys saw my reaction video yesterday, um, I enjoyed the movie. I really did. And now that I've calmed down, because when I was watching, as soon as I was watching the movie and through and through, until even after it was over, my heart was pounding and a lot, and I had an excellent time. So now that I'm calmed down, we can go ahead and talk about it. Hi, everybody. I'm Awesome Joe. Thank you guys so much for taking in the time of your day to watching another episode of Awesome Joe's Movie Reviews. And today we're going to go ahead and talk about the newly released film, the very first movie in the year 2026, Primate. This movie was something that I found myself wanting to watch. I know I have never heard of it until I saw the preview of it in the beginning of one of the movies that I saw in theaters recently. I think it was back in October. Probably Tron Ares, if not Wicked for Good. But I did see it recently, and having to know that it was coming out in January, most likely, from the way the routine is, that if there are some certain movies that they find are not going to be big blockbuster hits, that they're going to bomb at the box office, that they're going to just dump it on that in particular month. That one and September, usually those months are the months that it happens. For what reason, I have no reason why. There are some successful films that come out in those months. I can't really name any off the top of my head, but when it comes to this movie, when I saw it, I didn't think it was ridiculous. I didn't, even when I watched the movie itself, I didn't find it ridiculous. I didn't have a bad time. Not just having to saying on how the way I reacted to the film. The movie doesn't really have a story to tell. It's just a good time. It really is just a good time. And that would be one of my errors to the movie, because like I always mention, that not every movie is perfect. They're going to have their flaws. This one, I found not many flaws. As a critic, I will throw out flaws. But yes, the movie not having a story to tell is one of those flaws. The characters, you really do not have any care for to watch, having to knowing that this is a horror flick. This is a killer monkey, pet monkey, going after these in particular characters one at a time. And so that's all these characters are. There's no depth. There's no connection. There's no chemistry. There's nothing there. Just the fact that we need a line of victims who fall under the gruesome gore that this chimpanzee does to these characters, to making this movie great. So there's that. You know what? This is practically Cujo, and even though it is Rise of the Planet of the Apes gone wrong, Planet of the Apes does still go wrong, but this is another, like, in a gory horror fashion. Before Caesar is under this position of wanting to free apes and getting that freedom that they long deserve. This is more of a killer ape. The ape, the chimpanzee is a smart, intelligent animal, and they do explain that in the movie. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to spoil it because it's still brand new, and I highly do recommend you guys to going out and watching it if you really enjoy a good horror flick. One of my rules when it comes to watching movies, horror flicks to be specific, is that I will not watch any horror flicks that involve demon stuff, anything religious. I will not go and watch that. If this had some demonic stuff in the film, then I probably would have walked out, because it's not something that I'm interested in. It's not something that it just goes against my religious beliefs. Um, but no, this one did not have anything. It's just a chimpanzee who gets rabies and is attacking these group of teenagers in this house. Long so the property itself. Um, I hear that a lot of people would complain with the fact that, of course, we know that chimpanzees are not capable of swimming. So the only safe position in this situation is inside the swimming pool, and the majority of that does take place. And that then they show that in the trailers and for the marketing of the film. So there's no spoiler there. But the gore is gruesome. It's not disgusting like where people find it pleasing to the characters in the movie. It's gruesome. It's very gruesome, and they really throw that at you within the first 5 minutes of the film. uh, and once it happened, I was, whew, my reaction is the entire time, even though my heart was beating, the entire time I was like that, practically the entire time. It was just me and an elderly two ladies in the audience, and those two ladies, they had a great time. They enjoyed it so much. I talked with them for a split second after the movie was over, asking them how much they enjoyed it, and they loved it. And of course, obviously, as did I. And then I went to the theater crew as well too, mentioning on how much I had a great time. It was a great movie, and it's a movie that I find that will bring audiences back to the theaters if you're not so picky about a movie and all of its aspects that they try to deliver into the film. You will have a good time if you're not so picky about it. But critic-wise, of course, a lot of people are going to give a lot of hate to it. I've heard many have walked out and they find it ridiculous. I, on the other hand, did not. I just had a really great fun time. That to my conclusion, I can say distinctively that this film probably might reach into my top 10 list, depending, so far it would be, depending on what other great movies are going to be coming out this year. The year has just begun. Anything could happen. Any new movie that pops up into theaters could have a possible outcome of being a really great film. But yes, I had a great time with this. One of the lead characters in this, if I were to say, her name is Lucy, I think, and she reminds me of a very young Brie Larson. If Brie Larson was like maybe 10, 15 years younger, she would probably have been in this role, because this girl, she resembled her a lot, and it reminded me so much of her every time when I saw her. And there's a lot of sign language, and I really have a massive admire to sign language. I'm in the position of wanting to learn, actually in learning sign language, and every time I see it, I find it just so fascinating, and I love how they do it in film. And the way that the movie ends, there's a position in there that something happens. For me, I didn't find it satisfying, but then it continued on with more, and then I found it satisfying. I thought there was going to be a more creative take on how that was going to happen, how it was going to be portrayed, but they didn't really bring it to anything. Nothing happened there. Did it take me out of the film in disliking liking it any less? No, I did not. But yeah, I had a great time. I'm really happy that I'm calmed down now to talk about the film. And I just would really love to get more movies like this. This was really great. I did see another film after this, which was Anaconda, that I did not get to see in theaters on Christmas Day. I would really would have loved to, but the holiday seasons are just so busy, and for me it's complicated to get to going to a movie and having to talk about it amongst all you wonderful viewers out there. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this first since it's new, and I'll jump right into Anaconda after this. But as of now, when it comes to the movie Primate, I love and how what really intrigued me into wanting to watch this movie even more, even though I was going to go and watch it anyways, is the fact that Rotten Tomatoes gave it an excellent score. You know, yeah, it was like at an 82. Now I think it's at a 91. That's huge. That is huge for a January movie. That is huge. The director of this movie, he did 20 I forgot the name of the movie, 27 Meters Deep, I think, with the sharks. I saw the first one, but I didn't see the second one. I think that's the one he had directed. And then he did direct also Strangers Pray at Night. Of course, the first film is always great, and the one that he directed, Pray at Night, is not as good, but it is better than this rebooted trilogy that they're working on right now, the terrible trilogy. So I found it to being okay. There are some resemblances to how the way this director has a certain perspective on filmmaking. You can see the resemblances. The soundtrack to this is very thrilling. It really kept me at the edge of my seat. Every time when a character was taking action on something, I was at the edge of my seat going, go, 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 or no, don't do that. And, it's like, it would get me to think, like, what would you do in a position if you had a rabid chimpanzee? Well, for starters, me being middle class, not high class like these characters were, I would not own a chimpanzee. And it freaks me out on how terribly strong they are. And, you can actually see that a lot in Planet of the Apes and stuff like that. But the way it happens, it's just, I think everything fitted just fine. I would not recommend a sequel. I like it being its own movie within itself. I don't want to see it dragged out into different stories. I like it just the way it is here. Maybe they might have some explanation as to where these rabies come from. They don't really explain that. Maybe that might be a key point into wanting to expressing more of that in a sequel. But me, on the other hand, I like the film as it is as a solo film. I don't want to see any more takes on it. As much as I loved the movie. But yeah, if I were to give a rating to this, because I did have a rating system that I was working on and I wanted it ready by the time the new year had started, because right now I'm only working on percentage rates, and I wanted to give my own rating system to it, but I'm still working on it. So we're going to have to just make do with the percentage rate. So Primate, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 90. A 90% I'm giving this movie, because I did enjoy it very much. And like I said, it does have its flaws. I would have loved to have given it 100%, but like I said, there are some things in there that I would give it to, just to say that it is not a perfect movie. Even though I would have loved it to, and I had a great time with it. There are some other movies that I had watched recently as well too that I would love to talk about as well, but it's going to take me some time, which is one of them is Together, and then since I was a fan of Weapons, the director of that movie also directed Barbarian, so I did watch Barbarian. I would really love to get to talking about that, but there's so much work that needs to be done, including with this video, so... yeah, you guys, I hope that everybody's New Year's is doing very well. I really do hope that everybody is sticking to their New Year's resolution, even though I know it's a little complicated to stick to that loyalty of being with it. But it's just the beginning of the year. Hopefully things matter to change, and they all change for the better. So. But anyways, you guys, I'm Awesome Joe. Thank you guys so much for taking in the time of your day to watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see some more, you can check me out on YouTube at Awesome Joe Movie Reviews. Don't forget to click on the like and subscribe button, you guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to see more upcoming videos, go ahead and click on that notification bell so you can, so it can be to let you guys know all the new material that I send out there. But anyways, you guys, I'm Awesome Joe. Keep on living the dream, and as always, stay awesome. Thanks, you guys, once more again, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye.